pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, public comments. We don't have any of those, obviously. Claims and payroll docket.
Yeah. Okay. I have two claims dockets here. The first is just our standard December 1st through today. The second is a year-end cleanup. These were claims that are just didn't appear to be on a past docket. I think what happens is if we backdated them or they fell on a date that we'd printed them, then they weren't making it onto one. So there's a secondary list here that also needs review and signature, but I can pass those.
Make this easier on all of us.
But yeah.
These are not, yeah, these are different. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
This is just the miscellaneous claims that
It is.
we're getting wrapped up.
Yeah. And looking back through it, I was trying to figure out how they hadn't made it onto past pages. I'm thinking that they were all backdated. So the docket with that particular set of dates had already been printed and run off, and then so they wound up not having anything. So I just put them all onto a year-end cleanup sheet.
Okay. Yeah, these are from back in February, April.
Yeah, and then I had a few too that had made it on there in like payroll from November. So I need to take a closer look at the system and make sure that we're catching those.
When did you start again? I can't remember.
September 1st.
September.
Yeah.
I was trying to pass the buck.
Yeah.
There's the back one.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so then our second reading on ordinance 2025-7.
So, do you want me to read it? Is it okay?
Sure. Go
Okay.
for it.
This is ordinance 2025-7, an ordinance to establish a READI grant fund, which we have set up under Fund 2405. Whereas the town of Thorntown has been approved by the Greater Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce to receive a grant in the amount of $150,000 for expenses related to the 116 and 118 East Main Street project. Whereas the town will be a recipient of funding from the READI grant, and whereas the READI grant funds must be deposited into a separate local grant fund and used by the town consistent with the terms and conditions of the grant. And whereas the town desires to establish a new fund, the 2025 READI Grant Fund, to receive funds from the Greater Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce and to provide a mechanism for appropriation and accounting for the funds used. Now therefore be it, and it is hereby ordained by the Town Council of the Town of Thorntown, Indiana, as follows. Section 1, Fund Established. The Town Council of the Town of Thorntown, Indiana does hereby create Fund Number 2045, which is designated as the 2025 READI Grant Fund and shall be the depository fund for allocations received through the READI Grant Program. All expenditures must be appropriated by council. Section 2, Permitted Uses. The funds in the 2025 READI Grant Fund shall be used consistent with the terms and conditions of the READI Grant Subrecipient Agreement. And Section 3, Internal controls shall be designated, implemented, and documented to provide reasonable assurance that the READI Grant funds will be safeguarded and used in accordance with the READI Grant Subrecipient Agreement. And then here is one to sign if everybody would like to pass it. But I think we would need to do a vote. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I will make a motion to pass ordinance number 2025-7, which is the READI grant for $150,000 related to 116 and 118 East Main Street project. Seconded. All in favor? Aye. Just a number.
That grant is nearing the end. We're waiting on 2 vendor payouts. And then we have $3,600 some dollars left, but there's a $5,000 invoice to follow for the fire suppression system. So once the drywall and everything post drywall is finalized, we'll have that. We can get an extension for that $3,000 to be used in 2026 so that we don't lose that little chunk. And we can run the invoice through and have them pay that out, and then we'll cover the tail end of it. So it's getting close to wrapping up. But yeah, getting close. And then we'll close out the grant and have all of that into this next year.
Okay. Okay. And first reading of ordinance 2025-8. Ordinance establishing the compensation to be paid to officials and employees of the town of Thorntown. You're a fine reader.
I just have to read the changes, right, on this one? Or is it?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
It's a lot.
This is the draft for some of the changes that were first discussed back in October. And then for the new year. So all the calendar year dates have been updated to reflect 2026. Some of the positions that are no longer here, building inspector line, things like that, have been removed from the list. And and then I'll read the updates on there. It's an ordinance establishing the compensation to be paid to officials and employees of the town of Thorntown, Indiana for the calendar year 2026. There were no changes to the compensation that I included in section 2, and I wanted to verify that I looked back through the budget discussions and I didn't see raise notes, and I just wanted to confirm that that was accurate. So it's the same.
Here you have we're doing there.
No. No, I don't have my binder with me.
Can we pass this on to the next meeting?
Yeah, we
We
can
better do that.
we can table it
because
first.
I cannot remember.
I was thinking there were a couple of changes, they were minor, but
Right.
Yeah, that was everything reflected in that section are the same salaries that were in 2025. It's I did make the updates to the Utility Service Board President and the
Right.
Utility Service Board member. The Utility Service Board President up to $3,000 annually to be paid quarterly. Board members $2,500 annually to be paid quarterly. And then the street department compensation changes are noted in there, with the street department superintendent $1,500 per quarter and the street department at $1,200 per quarter. So those were
Yeah, I do remember all of those.
okay.
So. I think we're good to go on that here. You feel good with it?
I was thinking similar to the payroll. You're right. I believe so.
So we're just doing the first reading anyway, so it's not
Yeah.
like we're voting on it.
Yeah. The street department compensation does come from MVH funds, so would just continue to do the same. And then everything else that changed with the utilities doesn't need to, that it falls within the current salary ordinance. So
Okay. Thorntown Hall calendar.
okay, the calendar for 2026 is attached. It includes, there were no additional holidays or changes to the holidays, so it's the same holidays from 2025. The list for town council, utility board, APC, considering they still have their regular meeting into next year, and park board are all listed right now. And as of with the holidays falling, the town council, the second January meeting falls on a holiday, and then the first September meeting falls on a holiday. I didn't see anywhere that required those meetings to be on Mondays, so I didn't know if your preference, having them back to back on the weeks, I didn't know if you just wanted to bump one down and have them Monday back to back, or maybe do a Tuesday, or just have the one meeting those months.
Okay. That's just us, right? The town board.
Yes, yeah.
In the past, they've always just had one meeting, if it fell on a holiday, they just had one meeting that month.
Okay.
But with what we've got going on with the water plant and building and sewer and things like that, I think it'd be a better idea to move it a Monday,
Okay.
and so we can actually have two. It might get them close together, but that's happened before. But if anything happens to come up in that 3 week span,
Okay.
cause an issue.
Okay.
Just a suggestion. Move it to another, the following Monday.
The following. Okay.
January 26th.
Okay. Instead of the 19th, do that January 26th meeting.
Yeah. 26th and 21st? No, 14th.
I know it's hard with the black and white
Yeah,
calendar.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
No, from the 19th to the 26th, yeah, and then from the 7th to the 14th in September.
Okay.
Basically, just kick it to the following Monday. Okay. But I think Gary's right, regularly going on. Still having 2 meetings probably is important. Yeah.
Okay. The other item to note in that is the final pay period of next year. The pay date falls on a holiday, falls on New Year's Day. And so we would pay the day prior, which puts 27 pay periods into next year. So the hourly payouts or hourly pay will still be the same. They still have the same biweekly amount, but with salary, it'll need to adjust to reflect that additional pay period. So I'll divide the salaries by 27 pay periods instead of 26 for this following year.
Okay.
But
That makes sense.
so then the pay periods and the pay dates are listed out to reflect the dates that those are in there.
Okay.
And the asterisk in June, and the June.
Yeah, because the pay date's actually June 19th, but it's a holiday. So the payday will come out on, same with the 31st will be in the same boat.
So you make those modifications then for the calendar?
Yep.
Nothing more with that.
There were a couple of changes in the handbook that were connected to that salary ordinance. The following positions are considered exempt and the following positions are considered non-exempt from page 9 on the handbook. Those were updated to reflect the changes for Sandy's position. And we still had the utility superintendent listed under exempt. So I just bumped the utility superintendent and utility clerk down to non-exempt because they do receive overtime when worked.
Okay.
I reached out to Amy. The employee handbook it's not required to have a employee lawyer write it up or do anything like that. And I don't know that these changes are really large enough that a lawyer would need to look over it, so we can just make them. That's the only
Okay.
change in it right now. We paid a lot of money to have a lawyer review all of this last year. So they've already
Okay.
covered the majority of it. But then that was the only change that I saw in the handbook going into this new year.
Okay, so we would need to make a motion to accept that, I'm assuming.
I don't know. Yes.
We sign it. Well, I don't think we're signing anything. We can
Yeah, if the change looks good, then I'll get the new signature pages out with the revised employee handbook copy to all employees for signature for
Okay.
2026.
Okay, that makes more sense too.
There are 2 ordinance pages in there in your folders as well. And these were the only things that I found. I don't have I haven't talked to Amy yet to get the documents written up, but there was a compensation paragraph for the utility service board that we would need to have either updated to reflect that we could use the salary ordinance. But right now, the compensation for each member of the utility board shall be $400 per year. So we would either need to update that ordinance or have it updated to reflect that we could go off of the salary ordinance. So I'll touch base with Amy on that one.
Okay,
And then the only other thing that I saw too is that there in our ordinances for the town park board, Lindsay saw this one. They're currently noted that the town park board meetings will be held on the 4th Monday at 6 p.m. and they're holding them on the 1st Monday at 3:30. So I can get with Amy and see what we need to write up to make those changes in the ordinances.
okay. Application for construction permit signature needed.
This one was dropped off by Dan, and it's the application for a construction permit for the public water system. I just wanted, Grumpy needs to sign it, but I wanted to make sure that everyone saw it.
Okay. Okay. Mhm. Update on Westfall Place.
Yeah, that one is the first handful of building permits were issued today. So they came in and paid for the permits on 6 or 7 houses. And so those are out. And then we have received the plat and documents for sections 2 and 3. So I'll get those to Marcellus. But they are officially moving out there. So that's all. I just wanted to give an update on that one because it
Okay.
happened today.
Keeping them in line out there, Earl.
And trying. It's hard. I tell you, it's hard. You got too many hands stirring that pot out there.
I can see that.
Yeah.
You said they gave us copies of the sections 2 and 3?
Yes.
supply?
Yeah. And I know that the surveyor's office they have those documents as well. So they started reviewing those this past week. So,
Right.
um,
Okay. And it looks like resolution for appropriation of transfers.
okay. This stuff is new to me. So if you spot anything that we should do differently or handle differently, I'm open to looking into whatever we need to look into. But as we are coming up on the year end, if transfers can be made within the same fund and the same category and without action, what we're doing is moving items within the same fund to a different category. So it would need a resolution passed by the council in order to do that. but we don't have to do a public notice for category to category within the same fund. So there is an appropriation report in there. We've officially paid out all of the salaries for 2025, so we have some extra funds there. The building inspector line has the remaining budget for what they were going to be paid out through the year. There's also, we've been paying for the police gas out of the public safety lit town portion. So there's some extra funds there. And part of this resolution, is having those funds, some of those extra funds moved to general and professional services to cover some of the additional expenses that we have there and can pay out this year. Because we're running Jared, like Cronin Associates comes out of there. Jeff's payments come out of that line. And so we could move some of that and pay those bills there.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I also wanted to make sure we have invoices from Venus Snow Removal, but those are getting paid out of the MVH snow removal section, and we've got a bit there, so we can get some of those invoices paid up. But the bank recs are officially caught up. We're reconciled through the end of November, so I wanted to do that before taking a look at these appropriation reports to ensure that I had accurate numbers on there before we started moving stuff around.
Right.
There also is, I looked at it last year's, and there was an auto appropriation transfer list report run, and this covers all the little ones. So the system just takes our excess and then auto moves it automatically to some of the other lines that need the coverage. And so this is the list that's referenced in this resolution at the bottom, the auto appropriation transfers list. And I just pulled that off of the example from the end of last year for that.
Yeah, you gave us a copy here.
Okay. But I think that the movement of these funds would get us through year end, allow to pay out a few invoices that are sitting on my desk, and then
Right.
we'd get into January and be back with the new budget right there.
Okay. So,
Do I need to read it? Or
I don't know. I don't think we do.
okay.
Okay, I will make a motion to accept resolution 2025-12. It is transfer of appropriations from the same account, just to a different category. Correct?
Yes, yeah, same fund, different category.
Okay. Let me make sure I covered that. And a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 There is an additional salary or an additional ordinance that I will have, and I just ran out of time to find it I've been down for the count, but it is the sewage ordinance. So the first reading I had been hoping to do today so that the second reading could take place in January. And I'm behind on that. That one's my fault. So it'll be, I'll have them ready so that we can get that moving as quickly as possible, because I know they were hoping to have that for January.
That would be fun.
But I think was there anything else, Daryl, that you can think of that I'm missing for utilities ordinances or anything? Okay.
I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, that was the year-end stuff that I was.
Right.
That's all I had on that.
I guess we'll find out if you did it right or not.
I know.
Okay.
And I appreciate y'all and your willingness to do this additional meeting since I missed last week. So thank you very much for that.
No problem. We will, our next meeting, definitely gonna make a motion that we do all of our meetings at 7 o'clock.
7, okay.
Because this obviously really backfired,
Okay.
because they didn't even make the 7 o'clock one. Okay.
Okay.
So, did you have anything, Earl, that you want to throw in
I
there?
have nothing for you guys tonight.
Okay.
I have a question for Earl. Do you know what they're doing down by the cemetery on Back Road?
They're putting in conduit for underground. I don't believe it's Frontier, but it's conduit to run underground communication cables.
Okay.
Metronet, yeah.
But they're gonna be a metro that's gonna be down here, either tomorrow or something. They said, send me a message that they're gonna be down, actually telling you they're gonna be down instead of just,
Right?
shutting off.
That's the way it works, man.
At least they told somebody.
Yeah.
Well, if nobody has anything else, I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:20 p.m. All in favor? Aye.